Also wanted to understand about the I think the IMF governance diagnostic report, and the civil society did another report,
Yeah.
and most of the time my civil society friends are uh, quite upset that we generally speak about the IMF governance diagnostic report but not on the civil society report. but
Okay.
but are there any drafts? Because for me it pretty much covers the same content, and it is important that both sides doing it, because it's, when you say IMF, it's an international, agency, but the civil society in Sri Lanka has a better sense on the context and the ground reality. Do you want to bring out any major recommendations from that report which is actually missing in the IMF report, or which is complementing, where we can do things urgently? I would like to discuss on that.
Yeah, sure. So we can sort of tie it back to the things I've already talked about, right? So I brought up the issue with the Auditor General Office, right? And there's a very complimentary recommendation in the prior to recommendations of the IMF is giving the Auditor General the ability to levy surcharges on officers that, and sanction them in relation to corrupt practices, right? That basically empowering the Auditor General more. That's also that's a recommendation in the IMF. That's also very complementary to the recommendation of ensuring there's follow-up action by the Auditor General, right? That's a form of follow-up action. Then, so let me talk about the report in general. It also covers short, medium, and long-term anti-corruption reforms and governance reforms, right? It covers tax policies, tax reforms, especially with the transparency and accountability angle, right? Tax exemptions. If you are giving out tax exemptions, who are you giving it to? Why doesn't the public know about it? What are the, how can we compare this year's to last year's? So things like that. Then it covers a lot of what we already talked about. So like the Proceeds of Crime Act, and it talks about, if I can try and think of something that we haven't already touched, the report talks about. Yeah, budgetary transparency is also something the report talks about that we couldn't really touch here. The importance of being able to assess budget variations, assess from, what was allocated, what was spent, where's that transparency. Debt transparency is another thing that we really focus on, debt integrity, right? So those are sort of, maybe I actually pick maybe debt integrity as something that we focus on a lot.
What
Um,
is debt integrity?